Hello everyone. A couple months ago, I did a video about the toxic protesters in my community and how they are leading people who want to get involved in certain protest movements into getting arrested by police officers and being on the wrong side of the police. And they do this in order to bring media attention to their causes because they will stop at nothing to get attention for their cause. And some of these people are silver spoon in their mouth assholes who don't realize that the people that they're leading into getting arrested have to live with that arrest record for the rest of their lives when some of these people have not worked really a day in their life, worked hard. And so now they spend their lives wasting it. That's okay, but then when they lead young people into getting arrested, this really pisses me off. Okay, it's not a badge of honor to get arrested for something just for the sake of a little bit of media attention when people forget about it the next day. Okay, so since the video that I last made showing a pattern of years. Okay, years of at least once a year, the same people in this group of toxic protesters getting arrested or being present when arrests happened. I'm going to go down the last few months since I made that video. Now, first, we have this thing called Occupy the Sky, the toxic protesters that have taken over the Occupy banner in my town. The Occupy banner that I no longer support after, supporting it very much in 2011. I just can't support it anymore because this is the silliness that they bring to their message. They basically make everything that anybody's ever done for the Occupy movement a joke, okay? So there was a thing in Colorado Springs called the Space Symposium, the International Space Symposium, where, people from all over the world, physicists, people in the military contractors, astronauts, and, all sorts of people came to this International Space Symposium, right? So, of course, because there's media there, these toxic protesters have to steal that spotlight. So let's see what they did. First, we've got gun control. Yes, in space. Ban assault weapons in space. How crazy do you have to be to think that this is the most pressing and important thing that you could be protesting? How many people do you know that have been killed by assault weapons in space? Okay? And you like their little spacesuits that they made with NASA and everything? Along with the trademark duct tape Occupy flag. That's the Eric Verlo trademark right there. You can see right here on this picture, the caption says, Monday. This year we had a plainclothes police escort because we haven't yet caused disruption, but they're taking no chances. We have been assaulted, however, sure, playing the victim card, but also there's your proof that there were police having to monitor them the whole time, okay? Explore, don't exploit. Now, see, just 1 week after this, I was in a lecture with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he was telling us all that the most likely scenario that we will get any funding in order to explore space would come from military funding and military exploration. And the only reason why things happen, why this exploration would happen, would either be the military or somebody finding profit in mining asteroids. So you see that his sign says, explore, don't exploit. Okay? Who cares if a company goes up and mines an asteroid? Was that asteroid just too beautiful to mine? It's in space. You can't see it. It doesn't pollute the Earth if it's mined in space. What the hell? All your other causes are about don't pollute the Earth, don't pollute the Earth. Well, we don't have to mine all those things on the Earth if we mine them in space, if we want the stuff in space. Okay? And here's another crazy sign. More warp drive, less death ray. It's not even grounded in reality because warp drive. It's fictitious. Okay? It does not exist. And I'm sure they could show an example of something that they're considering a death ray, but there's no Death Star, there's no death rays in space. Oh my goodness. So they've got some more pictures here. This is from the Occupy Colorado Springs Facebook page, okay? Occupy the sky. Anyways, they make themselves look silly. They make themselves a joke. But in one of these pictures I'll show you here, they do get interviewed by Al Jazeera. Because Al Jazeera is there in order to, give a spin on the whole event, and they're there to give them that spin. And what's the sign say? Weapons dealers want to put what in space? There are no weapons dealers that want to put anything in space that's shaped like a bullet like that. No, there are not. There's no market for it yet. But in that lecture that I did have when I watched Neil deGrasse Tyson, he did say that it's a very important thing to protect our own satellites. Okay, and during the Space Symposium itself, if you watch some videos that came from it, there was a couple terms like mission assurance. Mission assurance weapons are things that would clear something like an asteroid headed right for your satellite, something that would clear some debris that was headed right for your satellite. We're not putting things in space in order to take out other people's satellites. That's not what they're there for, okay? It just so happens that the things that would work the best in order to protect our own satellites if something's on a trajectory for them are weapons, that they're guns. They shoot something out, and then they save the satellite and save the world billions. And then there's less mining on Earth to put something in space. There's less rocket fuel spent to put it in space if we just have a little gun up there to clear a few frickin' rocks. Okay? It's called mission assurance. Look it the fuck up. Okay, so enjoy your 5 seconds of fame with Al Jazeera. I'm sure you'll be able to find the footage of it. Next, the next thing that they got involved with the police with was they're raising money for Fitzgerald Scott, this guy who just so happened to cement his arm into a cement block in order to protest the Keystone Pipeline. He basically made himself a human speed bump. So they had to shut down construction of the pipeline until they could get him extracted and, hauled off and later, freed from the cement. But now they're collecting money for his bail because people who get arrested for their causes are heroes to these people. Next, we've got, here we have on April 27th, this is a police officer who was called out because they were protesting on the property of Atmel because they were angry that some solar power project didn't get off the ground. If you don't like the police being called on you, don't trespass. But of course, like I said, they wear these things like a badge of honor. Next, we have these are pictures from the Occupy Colorado Springs website from, what was the day? April 16th, right? So we've got the trademark duct taping there, but I can actually point out to you, there's Patrick J. and Eric Verlo and a couple of the regulars. And they've got to go to Denver in order to really get a crowd this big, because they've pissed off all of the protesters that they would be able to get behind their causes here in Colorado Springs. They're well known. So they go to other cities to be toxic over there. And they've got a video right here of them protesting. This is the protest of the Platts Colorado Conference, right? Platts is a fracking company. Well, in association with that, here's a video on a blog here of some of those protesters. Here's a picture with the same protesters right there, and then down here, here's a video. And in this video, they deployed a bunch of helium balloons with an alarm on it right in the middle of their conference, and people got arrested. Okay? And you can see the footage of the person who got arrested. And this time, it was not the regulars. They found some new young kids to get arrested because, they've got to spread these arrest records around and ruin people's lives. Okay? It pisses me off to no end. And I told you guys, if you get involved with these toxic protesters, you will be occupying the inside of a jail cell. Alright? And I'm going to leave you guys with one last thing that I'm going to say about this. How fucking ironic is this? Okay, this is a picture from April 15th. This is from the Aurora campus in Denver. They had a giant protest, and the sign they had here, "Occupation is a crime," followed right behind it by Eric Verlo's trademark duct tape Occupy sign. His Occupy flag right there. Yeah, occupation is a crime. He intends it to be a crime. He intends to get arrested. He intends to have police there with their flashing lights so he can get more news cameras on himself. And if he can't get the news cameras, he'll be taking the pictures himself just so that he can get some publicity stunts by pissing off police and being a criminal for crime's sake. And now he's marching behind something that says occupation is a crime. Now, I know there's another context to it, but it just, to me, man, that just pegs the irony meter. Anyways, I'll check back with them in a couple months and give you another rundown of how many different people they've had arrested for their stupid causes then. Some of them, they don't even understand what they're saying. Occupy space. Really?